So this is a collaborative discussion amongst three friends.
You are a bandwagon Swiftie.
Wow.
LaCroix.
How have you never had a Choco Taco?
Well, I don't know what a Choco Taco is.
Do you do MMA? Because you're really wide.
So tell me, what's in your beverage center?
You don't know what the hell you're talking about.
No, my eye twitch isn't bad right now.
Let's talk about the process. How are we going to help you obtain the best home at the best possible price, terms, and conditions that we can? All right, welcome to Shootin' the SHT, Real Banter with Nick and JT, episode 36, brought to you by Shoreham Bank. That intro gets me every time. I mean, it's probably the 36th time I've heard it. I crack up.
I was sitting there listening to it, and it really is just a full intro of you ripping me for various reasons. It's real life. So.
What else is new?
Very accurate.
I found it amusing.
Thanks, Todd.
So the MMA story, did we ever tell that in the podcast? I don't think we have.
I'm sure you have.
We were at a curator event in Nashville. This had to be, 2018, 2017?
Probably.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And we were down there, and, we didn't get a lot of sleep over those 3 days or so. We were much younger back then. And we were out at a bar on Broadway very late in the night. And someone came up to John and literally asked him if he did MMA because he's so wide. And never been able to forget. It's been something we had to bring up over and over again.
I was flattered at first. They're like, do you do MMA? I was like, no. Why? They're like, oh, you're really wide.
I didn't know that was a qualifier for being an MMA.
Yeah,
Why? I guess I meet that.
Maybe it's just my broad, muscular shoulders.
Never mind, you're 5'6". I'm not sure how.
5'7".
You don't have the reach. I'm not sure if that would work out well.
5'6.5".
Yeah, 3/4 actually.
Awesome. Well, if you haven't noticed already, we have a guest in the studio today. Very excited. One of the top.
Happy to be here.
Yes, one of the top team leaders in Massachusetts. Someone who made the move to EXP right around the same time we did. In fact, we were out to dinner with our onboarding specialist. Gave us a little teaser without saying his name, but a top team in Massachusetts coming over. And Todd is the founder of the Denman Group, a 180 side operation and the number one mega team in Massachusetts by sales volume. Built a full service machine with marketing, ops, leadership.
Sounds nice.
All dialed in. Absolutely. I got to give the intro, the hype intro here for Todd. And he's doing it with a heavy focus on wealth building through real estate. From Starbucks to scaling one of the top teams in the state. Todd, welcome to Shootin' the SHT.
Woo. It's
Welcome.
to be here.
Absolutely.
It's quite the intro.
One of my favorite things about this business is the varied, diverse paths that Nick, you and I were just talking about. Like, you had an indie brokerage, and that's how we met. We're like, our paths are crossing at the same point, but our pasts are very different.
Absolutely.
I love it.
I think I read in your intake form, Todd, you started at Starbucks, right? Now, how did you get into real estate? What's your path in real estate look like?
Yeah, so my father is a contractor. He's retired now. He basically was a one-man army for my whole childhood. Basically, he had a helper, and I was often that helper. And he preached to me throughout my childhood the power of investing in real estate. And that stuck with me. And, I got a job at Starbucks when I was 17, while I was in high school. And little did I know the trajectory that would take me on. I ended up, I was a barista and then a shift supervisor. This is over the course of 13 years. I basically was managing 9 different locations. I really took to an environment that believed in people development. And I ended up running the busiest Starbucks in New England. It's where I met my wife, Kat. She still works for Starbucks today.
Awesome.
We bought our first house with Starbucks stock.
Wow.
And I learned that, I just learned what a really well-run company can look like. And that was an interesting foil with my dad, who was this solopreneur who was working 7 days a week, feast or famine. We had highs and lows in terms of incomes in our family growing up. And when I got to a natural impasse my 13th year with Starbucks, where I was kind of feeling that itch to get to do my own thing. Because, with any large corporation like a Starbucks, you can feel like a cog in the wheel. And so I dove headfirst into a short stint of being a restaurateur. I was a director of operations for a small burger chain that unfortunately was competing with the Five Guys and Shake Shacks and We only made it about 2 years, but I learned what working 80 hours a week for very little gratification could look like. And yeah, after a short stint in the hospital, because I was so stressed working that many hours, I gave my notice. And it was actually the real estate agent's husband and wife team that had helped Kat and I, my wife, buy our first condo in Somerville that took us out to dinner and said, "Have you ever thought about real estate?" And I was like, "No, I think real estate agents are douchey." And
Most are.
but I went to
Plenty are.
well, right?
Yeah.
But I went to bed that night and I was like, "Wait a minute, this could be an opportunity. This is an intersection of entrepreneurship, client care, investing in real estate. Like, what better way to build financial freedom in real estate than by learning the ins and outs of selling it?" And so all of a sudden it was like a light bulb moment for me.
That's cool. So many directions I could go off of that, but
I know, sorry, that was a long
That's great.
diatribe
That's
story.
awesome.
I mean, I know for me, one of my first jobs, besides this, now obviously it's a family business, so kind of always was, somewhat involved around here. But my first main job was working on a fuel dock, so pumping gas into boats, all through high school and college, which was a great time. You're out in the sun, getting some good vitamin D. But I think more importantly, that along with my passion for golf, both really taught me how to talk to various different people of various different income levels, and you just got comfortable talking to people. And I'm sure you probably had a very similar experience working at Starbucks in your early days, being a barista and having all the customers come in and whatnot. I just think that that skill is something that you can learn and really serves anyone in this industry really, really well, in my opinion. But a really, really neat background there, Todd. I appreciate you sharing more about that.
Yeah, it's so, it's often hard to shift from one industry or one job to another, but there's often a through line of skills that you learn from different experiences in your life that you end up carrying forward. And like, I'm sure you have stuff you learned in those jobs that you bring to today, or maybe you want to avoid going back to.
I don't miss pumping shit out of
yeah,
boats,
yeah,
so
exactly.
But yeah, no,
That wasn't the highlight of your
That
life?
wasn't the highlight, no. But I mean, there were plenty of great highlights. I mean, it was a fun experience. But I mean, one thing that was preached to us is the secret to this business is talk to people, TTP. And I think any industry that can train you to do that is one that's going to serve any real estate agent well in the long run. So very, very cool. I love that.
And it's funny too, because I actually haven't shared this on a podcast before, but the reason I got the job at Starbucks was because I was a musician, and I actually went to Berklee College of Music, and Starbucks was really the point of Starbucks was that part-time job to help the starving musician, Sure. And I played in a band for 10 years, and we were on a label. We had a management company, and it's funny, I didn't think about it then. It's only been recently that I've been making the connections, but the band was the first business I owned, and I had to work with 4 guys to figure out our budget, our practice schedule, like how we were going to make money. And it's funny, like we were talking about the Boston Market Maker event that's coming up. Like people are like, "How are you so comfortable on stage?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I did play in a band for 15 years." So it's even being in a rock band is serving me in my real estate career today.
That's awesome. What type of music?
We called it dance rock.
Okay.
Like think like Chili Peppers, Maroon 5. We were busy, like really active in the early aughts, like 2000, 2010.
Nice.
We're on
Sweet.
Spotify. Check out Sucka Brown. You can see me with some really spiky hair in my early 20s.
I love it. That's fantastic.
Now, when you were reflecting that night, thinking about the opportunity, you thought real estate agents were douchey. Plenty are. How much of that opportunity was you have your background in customer service and client care? How much of that was I can rewrite this and I can change that narrative and provide great customer service to people looking for homes?
I could tell you're a systems operations guy.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, what's so funny about that moment is, I mean, oftentimes when we either lose a job or we quit a job or we're in a transitional period in our career, it's overwhelming. Like there's scarcity that pops up. There's identity concerns that pop up. Like I was the Starbucks guy and the band guy. And the like I said, the idea of becoming a real estate agent felt like used car salesman to
Yeah.
me.
Mm-hmm.
But what I did to get out of the kind of emotions or the feels of the decision was I actually wrote, and this is super nerdy of me, but I wrote a personal mission statement. And my mission statement is to positively impact as many people professionally as I can in my life.
That's awesome.
And that's like my mission statement today is just impacting people. Because I felt like that was the thing I could get up and do every day. And if money was no object, I would still do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wrote that mission statement, but then what I did is I kind of did a little like dreaming exercise, which was what's important to me about this next opportunity. And it was to be my own boss. At the time, it was geographic flexibility because I have family on the West Coast and the East Coast. I wanted to build passive income. And what I did was I created this little spreadsheet and I ranked the opportunities that I had in front of me. And a lot of them were in the restaurant industry. And I ranked each opportunity with the different characteristics. And real estate won.
Wow.
When I added them up. So that it was that kind of getting out of my head onto a piece of paper and kind of looking at the opportunities objectively with what was important to me. And it, in real estate surfaced. And so I was like, I got to try it.
Yeah.
And
I think
so
it's one of the best industries to make a positive impact on people's lives for so many reasons. Wealth, shelter, you name it. I remember my first sale, and I was 21 years old, and I helped this family with 4 children find a home under the median price point right here in Warwick. And they were like, "We're my clients." I had the listing. I got it from knocking on doors and farming my neighborhood.
You did?
Because that's what my father and mentor told me to do. And I got this listing, and they came through, and they were so incredibly appreciative of just the opportunity to provide a home for their family. And I instantly got hooked. And it wasn't the money, it wasn't anything, but it was the impact. And I think the best agents are the ones who recognize that, feel that, and they don't put the commission dollar ahead of that real mission that you talk about, which is so important. So
it's so true that like a common trait amongst the top agents, and of course there are outliers, but so many of the top agents care deeply about the experience they're giving their clients, whether it's a happy reason why they're moving or a really sad reason. And it like pains me still when someone's like, "You sell a house today?"
Yeah.
Because it makes it feel very transactional.
Yeah.
And I find that, certainly our team, and I know your team, it's really about helping people transition from, one chapter of their life to another. And of course, a house is usually involved with that.
Big part of that.
Yeah.
I love it. So you got into real estate, and I believe you indicate you sold 30 homes your first year.
Yeah, so I joined the husband and wife team that helped my wife and I buy our first condo. I didn't know what I didn't know, so I was really trusting that husband and wife, and I'm glad I did because they, environment's everything. And they said this is the old Keller Williams days. They said, "You're going to be a buyer's agent on the team," and I said, "Okay." And so I just put my head down. Just worked with buyers for the first 3 years, but I sold 28 houses in my first year, and then 40 in my second year, and then closer to like 50 in my third year.
Good for you. That's awesome. So what did you figure out early that most agents don't?
I figured out that this is a relationship-based business, and it cannot be, like we just said, transactional. It needs to be about, connecting with people on a deeper level, understanding what their pain points are, or what they're after, and being that resource. Like, so many of us agents get hung up on being the expert at everything, and we don't need to know everything. We just need to be the arbiter of, solving a problem, right?
So
like
true.
If you're in a basement and there's a terrible smell, you don't need to be the one to like fix it, right?
Yeah.
But you need to be the one that's like, "Hey, I've got someone that can snake the waistline."
Do you have a good referral?
I don't know.
Send it our way.
We got an interesting stench going on here at the office today. So it's an old building. It's an old girl we bought. So we're still working through the kinks.
We love her. We still love her.
Yeah.
What do you think your background at Starbucks with people, service, systems, how did that translate to your early success in real estate and building your team?
Oh, man. Relating with people and just client care and customer service, it really is a skill that can be developed. And Starbucks, I can't remember exactly what they're like. We're not a coffee shop. We're a third place where people can come and feel comfortable. And so their training was centered around making people feel welcome, making people feel like they, if there's an issue, that it'll be resolved. And so just to give you a couple, I learned that conflict's an opportunity to develop relationships.
Absolutely.
It's not something to, run away from.
Yeah.
And so when you look at conflict as an opportunity to deepen a relationship, you handle it differently. You handle it head on with respect and dignity and care. You learn that when you screw up. So we had a free drink coupon. So like let's say you ordered a no foam latte, right? And I'm on the bar and I'm making drinks and I put foam on your drink and I hand it to you. There's a free drink coupon when we screw up. So let's say I hand the drink off and they bring it back and they say, this was supposed to have no foam. I can say, hey, I'm so sorry about that. I'm going to remake your drink for you. And here's a free coupon for the next. And you see these people light up. And so not only looking at conflict as an opportunity to deepen a relationship, but looking at messing up or failure as an opportunity to level up the service experience. And so when we screw up, it's always like, all right, well, how can we take this setback? Because, right, we're running real estate businesses, mistakes happen all the time. And how can we turn this into a memorable opportunity for the client that actually leaves them more likely to refer us?
That's the key right there, because if you treat it like a transactional business, you're never going to get those repeat customers, the referrals, those opportunities. I think that's one of the key things that most new agents miss, is they're just looking for that next commission check that they need to make, their mortgage payment, their rent payment, whatever it might be. But when you can really focus on that client experience, provide a memorable one, and own up to issues and handle conflict well, or whatever it might be, that's when you create the opportunity for those that repeat business, the referrals, the long-term business, because that's when it compounds on itself. I know in my career, I started very young. I was 21, and I didn't have the trajectory that Todd had right out of the gate. I think I sold five homes my first year, then it was 9 homes my second year, then it was 18, then it was 27, then it was 36, then it was 50, and it definitely took me a little bit longer to get going, but it was because I stayed in touch, because I tried to provide the best possible experience that I could. And I think that's definitely one thing more agents need to focus on, is the client experience, start to finish. Put yourself in the client's shoes. How would you want to be, how would you want to go through this process? What would you like to see? And over communicate and over deliver, in my opinion. So I think that's definitely one of the key aspects.
Yeah. And being that trusted resource, having someone, if there's a smell in the basement, I can help you with this. I'm not going to
Keeps coming back.
go find it, but I know who can help you and be that trusted guide.
Awesome. So fast forward, 180 million, 180 sides. What drives that kind of growth and volume, Todd?
Yeah, what drives that growth is my why. The why that I shared with you guys, which is I think there's a shortage of value-driven, caring leaders in the world, right? I think there's no we're not getting close to having too many good leaders out there impacting people. So for me, a lot of people associate growth or big with negative things. And my experience at Starbucks just really rewrote that narrative in a way that I wouldn't have had all we've talked about today so far is just the customer service side of it. But the leadership and management training that I got at Starbucks was incredible. And it's really given me a leg up as a real estate agent to go and start a real estate business, a real estate team like you guys have. And the only way that opportunity for me to grow would be possible is if Starbucks was bigger, right? If you play small, then you cannot welcome people into that world. As leaders, we need to build a world that's big enough to encompass everyone else's dreams. And so that's really, it's a lot of people affiliate, when you start to become number one at this or number one at that, it becomes about, a lot of times there's a focus on ego. And so that's a battle that we have to fight. And of course I have an ego just like every human being, but I'm really motivated by taking an agent from 50 million to 100 million, or 0 deals to their first deal.
Sure.
And then beyond that, I love taking someone from this role to a leadership role, because it just, it's like, it's being a individual contributor, but then if you're developing other leaders who can positively impact people,
It's your greatest impact, right?
Yeah.
totally.
It's who comes behind
So-
you. And what else are you? Who else are you inspiring? Who else are you helping into those types of leadership roles?
That's
So
my greatest frontier is like, how do I develop other leaders
Yep.
so that they can impact others at
Absolutely.
this
Right.
point? Yeah.
So what's your org chart look like now? I know we were talking about ours a little bit upstairs, but what's your team structure look like, and how has that changed over the years?
Yeah. So the nexus of our team is really a high value team. So we offer transaction coordination. So basically contract to close. We have a marketing manager who creates social media assets, does all the listing marketing. We've got a director of operations that oversees ops, marketing, listings. And then we have a director of sales, Don. He's a director of sales and business development. He is doing business planning with the agents, deal doctoring. So the agents have someone that they can call at any point. And then we've got a running team, or a field associate team, where they install, booties, riders.
I love it.
Do all that stuff.
We have something similar. I haven't heard many teams have that type of role on it as well.
Oh, the
So,
agents
yeah.
love it because they're not having to deliver checks or go and run low dollar producing activity errands, right? And then we've got a VA team.
Okay.
Basically, everyone on the support team, including myself, has a VA that reports to them that helps with some of that, number crunching or
Sure.
admin tasks.
Just the day-to-day tasks that need to get
Yep.
done. Love that. So what was this changed everything moment for you guys in your growth trajectory? Like, what was can you pinpoint one time where you just accelerated, or things took off, or started to click and make sense, or anything along those lines that you can look back on?
I would say oddly enough, like most people think it's like when you're at your biggest, when you have those ahas.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it was when I made my first salaried hire that I had the biggest aha, because, when you're an agent, and there's probably agents watching this that are selling 6 to 15 houses a year, and they're working 6 to 7 days a week, and they're wondering what's next for me. And, in all likelihood, the next thing to do, in my opinion, is take some administrative work off your plate.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually through either an executive assistant, a transaction coordinator. And so when I made my first hire back in 2018, it was a $60,000 marketing-centric executive assistant. And I just remember, being nervous, because when you are an individual contributor, it's like you get your income and then you spend your income.
Sure.
And if you need to sell more, you sell more. As soon as you have a human being that's relying on your production,
Payrolls do every week.
totally. And what I didn't realize was the fire that would light in me to have I've got 3 kids, but having dependents at work
Yeah.
that their livelihood is depending on me was the biggest motivator, because it's just like my love language. Like, it's like I like to help people and
Sure.
elevate them. And so that was a big transformational moment. It was when I brought in that first executive assistant and realized I could positively impact her. And also having to shell out that $60K was a real motivator every day.
Yep.
I was like, I got to make this, I can't fail.
So true. What do you think is the part of running a $180 million business that people don't talk about enough?
It's funny. I was talking to an agent that's growing their team right now at Compass this morning, and he was calling me to in preparation for his first performance review meeting of his ops employee. And what I was saying to him is, it's oftentimes that people think if they're good at the whatever the trade is, whether it's accounting or selling real estate or being a mortgage loan officer, that if you're good at processing loans, that you'll somehow be a good leader or a good boss. And I think that that's really misunderstood, that leadership management is an entirely new set of skills.
Mm-hmm.
So
Totally different.
my advice to that guy this morning was like, I mean, I gave him some advice, but was to commit himself to developing his skills, his mindset, his knowledge as a leader and as a manager. So I think that's often what's overlooked.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Not
So
great
true.
agents don't always make great team leaders.
No.
Absolutely.
I know John and I, we started our team in 2016, and we were both quite a bit younger, had no leadership experience, and we've had our ups and downs. We've done really well at times and really poorly at other times, but it's a growing experience, and I think it is a totally different skill set that you need to continually work on each and every day. So it's so true. It's the best agent. What is that book? The E-Myth, right? Just
Yes.
because you're good at selling homes doesn't mean you're good at running a business for other people that sell homes or whatever it might be. Any business you can apply that to. But yeah, it's so true. It's two totally different skill sets.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I know part of your growth, Todd, has come through like mergers, acquisitions, acquiring other teams. How has that played out? I mean, that's something we've never even dipped our toes into. So what advice do you have for us for kind of merging in another team? How's that worked for you in the past?
It's both worked really well and really and been really challenging. The way I was able to take my team from, almost 400 million in GCI to 6 million in GCI was acquiring retiring agents' businesses.
Okay.
And so, for those of you who don't know, the average age of a real estate agent across the country is in their early 60s. And so these agents, and there's a joke, right? There's no retirement parties for real estate agents, right? They just open doors until they can't open doors anymore. And I remember my business coach and I were just kind of looking at that, and we were saying like, there are so many relationships that are just going by the wayside because these agents are just fading out of the business.
Mm-hmm.
What if there was a way that we could bring those agents into our fold, give them a golden parachute, if you will, via a high split and also an annuity, for every deal that came in, and then we would own their database. So I did that. Over the course of 3 years, I acquired 3 teams, and it was massively successful. These agents were really, really talented, had built really big businesses over the course of 30 years. And but it was very, very challenging. Mergers and acquisitions are effectively merging and acquiring 3 different cultures, 3 different ways of servicing business. And so it worked really well, but it also, so I think my advice would be, if you're going to do a merger and acquisition, you've got to really look at the impact it's going to have on the culture. I would say that was the biggest negative, was I acquired teams where there really wasn't a culture fit.
Yep.
And
I can see that being so challenging, bringing people into the fold who are just used to a completely different way of operating their business. It's got to be the right fit, I would imagine. How do you go through vetting that?
Well, and I'll say, like, we didn't do it like shooting from the hip. The first acquisition we did, I did due diligence for 1.5 years. And still we had cultural issues. So I would just say, for those that are considering doing it, really make sure you go deep with the people, or better yet, like if I acquire a business going forward, I'll probably not have the former owner of the business be part of my team.
Okay.
Because that creates some tension, right? You've got, you're the leader of the business. They're the former leader of the business.
Who are they going to?
Yeah, right. So the agents and employees don't know who their boss is.
Yep.
And so I still think there's a massive opportunity for this, for those, for you guys, for sure. But you just got to make sure you protect the culture at all costs. And I really failed after repeated examples. I was so fixated on making it work that I overlooked some red flags. And it wasn't until a couple trusted agents came to me and said, "Hey, this isn't okay." And then I took decisive action on it. So
when you're vetting teams or agents like that, what does a good acquisition look like? What are you looking for, good or bad?
I'm looking for client care, like client care standards, and all the agents whose businesses I acquired had really high client care standards, a success track record. So, right, I'm looking at their last 3 to 6 years of revenue. I'm also looking at their database and is it organized, and I'm looking at their profitability. And what you'll find if you go and meet with 5 legacy agents, as I call them, 100% of them will not have a database and they'll not have a P&L. So there's a lot of work that goes into even vetting because you have to go deep into their business and learn.
Things they don't even know, right?
They don't even know.
Yeah.
So there's opportunity there, but there's also a lot of underwriting that has to happen for it to be the right thing. And truth be told, I regret the negative impact that those decisions had, but I also think it was really successful while it was successful.
And how do you go about integrating those new people into your culture?
Culture has to be part of your week, whether it's a daily huddle, coffees and conversations, going out for beers. Like, you have to get to know each other. And so we did a lot of, we have a weekly team meeting, and I would put a new member in the hot seat every week where I would ask them, what was your first job? What was your worst job? What's something that no one knows about you? So I would, you have to have initiatives that help. And I think that's really important for your existing teams too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I would say that culture and recognition is that was a big thing at Starbucks. We used to have these green aprons where you could write a note of recognition for someone and give it to them. And so that's a really good, you want to foster recognition, not just from the top down, but within the organization too.
I like that.
So true.
Yeah.
I know one thing we really focused on the last couple of years was we give out a banana award, top banana. Our coach told us to call it that, because but
Top
basically
banana.
who best exemplifies your core values. And then at the end of the year, we give a golden banana award for who best exemplified those over the course of the year. In the past year, we actually had our whole team vote on it. And so it was a peer nominated award and whatnot, not just from leadership. And it was kind of a special moment. I really enjoyed, seeing this person recognized, Lindsey Brown. She's awesome for the team. And it was awesome to see that her own peers step up and, recognize the impact that she has on not just herself, but the entire team each and every day.
And I think it meant so much more to her coming from her peers.
100%.
Yeah. Love that.
I have to ask, is there like a banana?
We have a banana trophy.
Oh, yeah.
You have a banana trophy?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So good stuff. Very cool. So you mentioned environment, mindset, all big for you. So how do you instill that each and every day on your team? Is it the daily huddle, or like how are you making sure that it maintains a healthy status on the Denman Group?
Yeah, actually, and Nick and I were just talking about this before. One of the best initiatives I rolled out over the last year is a daily huddle. So every morning we take 15 minutes and we basically, I pick a different topic every morning: mindset, knowledge, habits, execution, skills. And that 15 minutes is a moment for me to pour into my team. So that's, helping them start their day on the right foot. And I think a lot of team leaders get it wrong, and I've gotten it wrong plenty of times with my own mindset. But a lot of team leaders are asking, what are the agents doing for me? What are the agents doing to earn their right to be on this team? And it was just being around other top producing team leaders that I learned, the book's already been written on how to do this. And I was at an event where someone brought up, hey, a morning huddle, we don't miss it. We do it every morning. And so I rolled that out 6 months ago, right when we moved over to EXP. And it's been such a gift. Like, people are coming to me and just saying, like, that is like the foundation for their day, is like hearing me talk. And like one agent said to me, even if I don't engage at all, or even if the topic isn't, hitting a nail on the head, like, just hearing your voice, like, there's the consistency of it that brings some level of structure to their day. Because as agents, we're like, we have highs, we have lows, we have buffaloes, we've got everything, So so the huddle's been really great. We're going to the Bruins tonight.
Nice.
We do a lot. We do a lot together. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's cool.
What does that huddle look like each day?
The huddle is, so I created a framework. So Mondays is mindset and identity. Tuesdays is habits and execution. We take Wednesdays off. Thursdays is knowledge. So we're talking market stats. And then Fridays, we're typically doing some sort of reflection, or we'll have a guest come on and talk. And the goal is just to leave the agents feeling fired up and enlightened. It's not an accountability moment. So I got that wrong for a while, where I was holding them accountable. What are you guys going to do today? It's really about me pouring into them. I try to keep it roughly 70% me talking, and I do ask for engagement. But I also, like you were saying, recognition is really important to top producers. So sometimes I'll pull on an agent that just crushed it, the previous quarter, and I'll interview them on their listing strategy. So it's like a great way to give people platform. And again, they'd rather hear from Dan Gorfinkel, our top agent on our team, about what he's doing to sell 50 million a year, versus me, Papa Dad, Todd, you got to do this.
Yeah.
Are you still in production, Todd, or no?
I'm not. No.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
When did you get out of production?
It's funny. I just covered a home inspection on Friday, and my agent was saying, "When was the last time you were on a home inspection?" I think it was like 3 years ago.
Oh, wow, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it was a while. I'm in homes every single week because I'm deal doctoring. I'm helping with strategy, but direct client representation, it's been years. Yeah,
nice. What did that transition look like for you? Like, when was the moment where you recognized I had to get out of production, and what that transition look like?
That was another really big moment. That was really challenging. What's most challenging about getting out of production as a team leader is the finances, right? So if your most profitable activity as a team leader is selling real estate, because you're not sharing a massive split with another agent, right? And so when you step out of production and you replace your production, which is typically a sizable amount for the team, you've got to replace it with multiple agents' production, right? So like I was selling 40 to 50 houses a year. My average agent at the time was selling 6 houses a year. So, you really have to be planful about when you step out of production, because your profitability can
tank
plummet
pretty quick. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And I would say I learned that's what happened.
Nice.
Our profitability plummeted, and then I had to really tighten the belt on expenses, and I had to really lean into, when the interest rates doubled in 2023, it was very, very enticing to get back into production, because you can make a quick buck. But I just knew that's not the path for me.
Cool. Yeah.
Did you do like a gradual slowdown, or did you just decide?
Yeah, because you have to decide at some point to not take on new clients, and you've got to service out the clients.
Yeah.
That's still one of the hardest parts of being out of production, is taking VIP A-list clients and putting them in the right hands of someone on your team. I still struggle with that.
It's hard
today.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's basically all I'm servicing these days, is my closest sphere and things along those lines. But it's still hard to step out of that for a lot of reasons. Never mind, you mentioned the dollars and cents. It's tough. So it's a challenge. We're working through that. That's for sure. So cool, awesome. So obviously, big group. Great success. What kind of systems and structure do you have on the team? Like, what drives the business every day? What works for you? What are you guys operating on?
So we are, when you say systems, you mean tech or standard operating procedures?
Yeah, more tech. Like, what's the day-to-day tech stack look like for
Yep.
Denman Group?
So we are using Sisu.
Yep.
Sisu's our accountability, really, agent-centric tool where agents are reporting their conversations, not perfectly, mind you. Conversations, appointments, contracts, all the way to closings. And then, our transactions are handled in there. Our onboarding's handled in there. So Sisu, Follow-Up Boss for CRM, Real Scout for client search and some seller nurturing. We use Google Suite for managing files, Dotloop for e-signature. I'm trying to think of what else. I said Follow-Up Boss. Canva.
Yep.
For marketing.
Cool. Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Does this look like your tech
Pretty
stack?
similar.
Pretty similar.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Good. Well, I'm glad we didn't even talk about that.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So good stuff. Yeah, great systems there. No doubt about it.
How do you balance culture and production as you're scaling? Do you feel both can coexist, and how do you find that balance?
Oh, that's a really good one.
Good job, JT.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
good job.
Good job, Chat.
You're doing great. ChatGPT or Claude?
I've been using Claude more often, but I actually have a podcast project in ChatGPT. I haven't migrated it yet. So yeah,
That's why these questions are kind of subpar.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
the podcast is still black and white.
The podcast is still black and white. Yeah. So,
No, actually, these are good questions.
Yeah,
so
so.
good job, ChatGPT. You're hanging in there.
this morning I uploaded Todd's intake form. I'm like, based on the prior structure and agendas that we have run in the past, please take Todd's intake form and put together an agenda with great questions. Thank you so much.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is wild. So
What was the ChatGPT question?
As you were scaling with culture and production, do you feel they can coexist, and how do you find that balance?
Yeah, so absolutely they can coexist. The reason someone gets into this business and the reason someone stays in this business are, who they're surrounded with and the impact that they can have in the they can put food on the table for their families. And we have at times, I'm thinking of Don, my director of sales and business development, and I have prioritized culture over production. And we've kept people around that are not willing to do the activities or the work that they need to do. Mm-hmm. And I'm not in the business of helping people go broke. So I've had to, I think culture is just really knowing your people and knowing what makes them tick and knowing what their definition of success is in this business. So whether it's paying off debt, buying that property, whatever that why is, it's knowing that as a leader and kind of sharing in that with them. But productivity is really about taking the why. Mm-hmm. And I know I'm talking about a little bit more about why than culture, but like it's tying that to what other daily activities look like.
Yeah.
Do you have minimum standards on your team, or if someone's doing the right activities, a good fit, they do a good job, they service the client well, is there a home for them on your team? How does that work?
Yeah, we have and I actually haven't committed it to memory, but we do, you've got to sell a minimum of 6 houses a year, that was my average before.
Okay.
So we actually, a year ago, our average was 6. Our average now is 17.
Wow.
So we've really been able to change
big jump
who we're attracting to our team. But part of that initiative was top grading, bringing in higher producers, and it was, it was kind of moving people off the team that were not showing up. Right. So we have some standards, right? Like how you take care of people. Do you show up? Do you show up to the huddles? Do you show up to the team meetings? Do you show up to the culture events like the Bruins game? Yeah. But then it's like, are you logging stuff in Sisu? It's really like pretty basic. Mm-hmm. We're not drill sergeants by any means.
Yeah. I hear some of these team leaders out there and they have these crazy minimum standards. I'd love to see, do they actually let these agents go if they miss it by one transaction, 2 transactions, whatever?
Oftentimes they don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. You would think that's real life, but I think there's a home for the person who's putting in the activities. They're showing up. Mm-hmm. They're doing all the right things. They're treating their clients well. It just maybe hasn't clicked yet. And we've had plenty of agents like that where it's a hard business to get off the ground.
Totally.
Even if we've got, tons of lead systems and structure and whatever it might be, just sometimes it's difficult to get going. And we've had numerous examples of people who took, a while to start hitting those seeing the results based on their activities. You know what's going to happen. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, if they're doing the right things, they'll take off eventually.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're this is more of an art than a science.
Yeah.
So if we see people doing the activities, they're a culture fit, they're showing up, but they're not getting traction, we'll stick with them.
Yeah.
Like for sure, because we want to see them succeed.
Now, when you made that jump from your average of 6 to 17, you were bringing in these higher producing agents, and some left, the lower producers. How many rose up? Did the tide rise some of those lower producing agents as well?
So was that a ChatGPT question?
It wasn't actually. It was just curiosity.
I could tell it was. I could tell it was elevated.
Absolutely.
When you bring in top talent, when you recruit top talent into the room, into your team, into your environment, it changes the entire.
Yeah.
I remember one of the most kind of palatable examples of that was a 19-year-old that I recruited through a developer client of mine came in, and he was door knocking, cold calling, and sold 40 houses. And the agents that have been around the business for a long time, they're all, we have to log in CSU, they're hemming and, they're complaining about these standards that I feel like are reasonable. But when this kid comes in and is like, what's the problem, guys? This is just what you got to do. Yeah. All of a sudden you start seeing these agents start to fall in line because they don't want to look a certain way. Right.
Yeah.
So it's all about influence.
Absolutely. Yeah. Love that. So let's jump into coaching a little bit. So I know you coach with John Cheplack, right?
Yes.
Awesome. So how long have you been coaching with Cheplack, and what's the reason why somebody at your level of success still feels the desire and want to be coached and have that level of accountability personally?
I think coaching has been the single most impactful component to my success because it's human nature to get wrapped up working in the business. And I'm pretty sure I have ADHD.
We all do.
Yeah. So never been diagnosed, but taking a moment, in every area of my life, I have a coach now. I have a trainer. I have business coach. We have a financial planner, right? Like it makes a lot of sense to put yourself in an environment with someone that's like 5 chapters ahead of you or 10 chapters ahead of you. And that has been I've had a coach my entire 15 years doing this.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
We were actually late bloomers on the coaching front.
Really?
Yeah. So I never had formal coaching up until, when was that?
3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, not long ago at all. So I would say the 2 biggest things that changed our trajectory were implementing EOS and actually treating the business like a business. And then also coaching. I think with the 2 biggest things where we started to see, our production, our, agent count, everything start to really go in a meaningful direction, the opposite way, in a positive way. So
what was it that I'm turning this interview on you?
Sure.
What was the impetus for you to do EOS? I mean, obviously you were probably like a hot mess and you're like, how do we?
Yeah, I think as you started getting bigger and we were trying to formalize and treat it like a business, true organization. Where did we even hear about EOS at first?
It was when we went from our small team within the brokerage to transitioning the entire brokerage to one team.
Actually,
we were watching Dan Beer's Agent Academy.
Yep.
And they ran on EOS.
Yeah. So actually it was Cheplack and Beer.
Yes.
And they did Agent Academy for a while together. And I told Dan this recently.
Operations Playbook.
Yeah, Operations Playbook. We did that, the ISA Playbook, and there was Sales Manager
Manager Manifesto.
Yep. So we went through all of those and basically just ripped off everything that he was doing. Why recreate the wheel?
Success leaves clues, right?
Exactly. So that's how we found it. We all read Traction. We didn't have an implementer. We did it ourselves, but we're very diligent. I mean, we basically run it to a T as to how they coach in the book, and it definitely, put us on a different trajectory, and it's been immensely powerful for our business. So those are the 2 main things. Yeah, absolutely.
So good.
Yeah. So thank you, Dan Beer. Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
That could lead us
and now we're in business with Dan Beer.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. So let's jump into that direction then. So Todd, you joined EXP right around the same time we did. Different paths took us there. We were obviously an independent brokerage, very traditional. We went to the Team Ridge model. Then we joined EXP. You were with Compass, one of the top mega teams, the top mega team in Massachusetts. So what kind of led you down the road to potentially joining EXP?
Yeah, it really came down to 2 things. It came down to the environment that we were in, and whether it was in alignment with what I wanted for the team, and then it was financial. Yeah. When 2023 happened, interest rates doubled, sales plummeted. I'd be interested to hear what your year was like that year, but we I remember putting $40,000 into the business that year, and it was just really trying to keep the lights on. And a lot of us either move towards pleasure or away from pain, right? And so I'm looking at my P&L. and talking to my wife about how can I not pay to have a real estate business. And I looked at the largest expense was the brokerage I was with. And that was a few years before I left. And so I did try to make it work with that brokerage, but they have a model that they're following, and they didn't really, that brokerage wasn't a big believer in teams. They're really much happier with small partnerships or solo agents or kind of medium-sized teams. And when I started looking at the CAT model, it just became abundantly clear to me that there was a much better way to do that. And then, you know, you and I were at the same event in San Diego.
Yes.
And we were just seeing, you know, we were invited into an environment where people were running much bigger businesses than us and were willing to give it away for free with an abundance and you know, and it just, to get into a better environment for less money was you know, a Christmas wish, miracle.
So for us, the collaboration was huge, and the mindset of abundance. So, you know, obviously we were independent, so we didn't, you know, the brokerage line item wasn't our biggest line item. You know, actually we were giving some up to join into this ecosystem. But for us, you know, we've been very fortunate, been very successful here locally. Year to date, in first quarter, we were top team in the entire state for volume and transactions. But I find, I'm not sure it's Rhode Island or New England, but it's very territorial and it's not a very collaborative culture. People aren't sharing things that are working. And I would say our superpower more than anything else is R&D. We're really good at ripping off and duplicating. So, you know, I mean, we're not rocket scientists. We don't create a lot of different things on our own. And I don't personally, and this is probably just a limiting belief of my own, believe that we are, you know, on the forefront of anything, doing something special and unique that no one else is doing. I don't perceive us to be that. But I think what we do really well is we, you know, success leaves clues, like you mentioned, and we seek out people across the country who are doing things at a level that we want to get to. And, you know, when we were exposed to this, the fast forward movement in EXP, and went to Kyle's office and he pulls up his P&L and he shares exactly what's working, like, I'll rip that off and I'll put it into action right away. And I think that's what we're really good at, is just taking an idea that we know works elsewhere and just saying, hey, let's, you know, minor tweaks here and there, make it our own, and let's put it into action. And that's what we've always done. And we've had various communities where we did that in the past, whether it was Curator back in the day or the Tom Ferry Network, and now fast forward. And I think it's just the culture of finding people who are at that next level, 5-10 chapters ahead, and they're willing to help you get there too. And that was the biggest attraction to me personally, was having that type of resource.
And what's so cool is, like, to think back, like, before we really even met, that we were on that same trajectory, you know, coming from different paths, but being introduced to the fast forward movement. And what I was hearing while you were talking was the difference between scarcity and abundance. Like, I think the old guard traditional brokerage model was, we're successful because of our proprietary tech, our proprietary, you know, operating system. And what stepping into the fast forward movement, that event in San Diego, or any of the events, the Boston Market Maker, where, you know, and Chet Black's organization is this is something he preaches, is like, he's like, give it all away for free. And being in Kyle's office, you know, they have over, what are they going to do? Over $1 billion a year in sales. And he is, like, his entire business is open for anyone to walk in and look at. That was just such a, you know, it wasn't new, but it was a reminder that, wow, if you actually, generosity and abundance can actually be a business strategy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That takes you to the next level. And I felt the same way in Boston. I felt like Boston is such an old city with old brokerage norms that when I moved from Compass to EXP, I was kind of scratching my head as to how to announce this move without it just being kind of a Instagram post. And he's like, Todd, he's like, listen to your heart, like, know what you like, know what you want to do. He's like, you should put on an event that would be, you know, give a gift to the greater Boston agent community. And it was like such an aha moment. That's why you coach, right? I never would have planned a 200 agent event
Sure.
without paying someone to be like, hey, you should do
You
this.
should do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of hold you accountable.
Yeah.
Hold your feet to the
Totally.
fire, and then here you go. And you have a super successful event, which was a great event. I was there. Really enjoyed
Yeah.
my time
Yeah.
there. Hell of a lineup. It was awesome. And you've got another one coming up, right?
Yeah, April 29th, 9
Nice.
to 1. So if you're with a brokerage, it's brokerage agnostic. Tickets are free, bostonmarketmaker.com.
Cool. Tell us
Yeah.
a bit more about the event. Who's the lineup? Who are your speakers? What are you planning on? What's the theme of the day?
Yeah, the theme of the day is how to sell, to get the tips and tricks and strategies from the speakers to sell one more house a month that already exists in your database. So it's really
that.
going to be centered around going deeper with relationships, not wide. So we've got Lindsay Stevens, runs a 400 unit team out of the Hudson Valley, speaking. She's going to be talking about listings. We've got the former head of coaching and the former chief marketing officer for Compass, Sky Michaels and Matt Spangler. They're going to get up there and talk about, in the age of AI and all the changes in the industry, how do you go in, deeper on the one thing that AI cannot touch, which is relationships.
Yep.
So they're going to really be talking about how to deepen relationships through marketing. Then we got Shant Banosian, who's the #1 loan officer in the country with guaranteed rate. What I'm really excited about with Shant is he usually gets up and does a killer market kind of economic update. This event, he's going to do a fireside chat with me, and I'm just going to use ChatGPT and come up with some really good questions to ask him about leadership.
Yep.
And how did he, he does well over $1 billion a year in loans. And so what I'm really excited about is this beast of a mortgage loan officer is going to get up there and be vulnerable and talk about failings and moving forward. And then, the keynote is Jared James.
Nice.
So most of us know who Jared James is. He's just an incredible thought leader in the space. He's going to talk for an hour about the same topic.
Cool.
Just how do agents go deep in their phone. And I'll give you one tip. Sky Michaels actually shared this with our team on Friday during our huddle. If we just go into our phones and open up our text messages, that's where all of our database lives. It's where all of our relationships live. So he had our whole team just open up our cell phone and then scroll back. He had to scroll back for like 20 seconds.
Wow.
And then he had to stop. And, invariably you're going to see people in front of you that you either didn't finish a conversation with, you wanted to check in with. And so he just had us send one text. And I'll tell you what the text is because it's so good. Oh no, my phone's off. It was, hey, I was just going through my files and your name came up. I hope all's well. That was it.
That's it. Simple.
So there's no call to action. There's no ask for referral. There's just, hey, I'm thinking about you.
Yep.
And so that's what the day is going to be about. It's free.
Cool.
So we've got about 50 seats left. It sells out at 250. We're over 200 right now. So
Cool.
Awesome.
We got to check the date, see if we can pull it off. 29th.
you guys
said?
have to come.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's
at lunch.
Wednesday.
Yeah, I love it. So, Jared James is one of my favorite follows on Instagram right now. He's been on fire the last couple of years with everything going on, whether it be the private listing debate, NAR, you name it. So he's a great follow. I've never seen him talk live, so I'd definitely be excited to see that.
He's incredible live.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be a gift.
Yeah.
That's cool. Awesome.
Now, I want to go back for 1 second to fast forward. We were talking a lot about abundance, and it still kind of blows my mind, and agents kind of look at me funny when I'm trying to explain fast forward to people. And I talk about how it started with Dan, Kyle, and Mary in the same market. They were competitors, and they said, let's just share everything. Let's just work together. And clearly it's worked out for them. Now they've merged their team, Dan and Kyle.
Must be a California thing. I don't know.
Must be.
But yeah, no.
We were talking about like locally, nobody shares anything, and they were competitors in the market, and they just decided to share everything and created this powerful movement that is just changing careers and changing lives. So how 6-7 months in would you say fast forward specifically has impacted your business and your growth?
Good question.
Oh my gosh, that's a good question.
It's not on here. No ChatGPT.
Woohoo!
You know what? I mean, we're talking a lot about culture and environment, and it just matters so much that we're in an environment that knows who we are, knows where we're going, and is we're surrounded by people that are in alignment with us. And I came from my story, how it differs from yours is I had built a team that wasn't really a reflection of my values in a brokerage that I outgrew. And so I had a lot of friction internally on my team. And I'm not saying that the agents on my team were the problem. I was the problem for them and they were the problem for me. It was just a misalignment. And then when I was bringing those problems to the brokerage, they didn't have a solve for it. So there was just friction all around. And it's really important that if we're experiencing friction that we do something about it. Mm-hmm. And so moving, having a coach was really helpful because there's a saying, it's hard to read the label from inside the bottle, right? Mm-hmm. So when you have a coach and you're sharing what's working, what's not working, the coach can then reflect back to you what you need. And it was actually Chet Black that introduced me to Dan Beer, who I was a fanboy of. Yep. It was on a Monday night elite mastermind that Dan and I just had a conversation. And Dan started impromptu coaching me for free. And obviously it was an attraction play, but a really smart attraction play. He poured into me for like 6 months and he just and then invited me to San Diego. And I keep saying this, and we were saying this before, I've never been in my 15 years in this business overwhelmed with abundance, support, resources like I am now. And that's what I feel. I feel like if I have any sort of need or question, there are like 3 or 4 people I could call that have already walked the walk.
It's really amazing, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. It's the best environment I've ever been in the real estate business for sure.
I mean, we were talking about agent attraction a little bit earlier, but shortly after I came over, I was talking about it with our upline and, Jeremy Larson, Joe Oz, Christina Salcido, Abel Gilbert. And next thing you know, they loop in Dan and we're on a Zoom with Dan, all of those people I just mentioned, Veronica Figueroa, and just talking about like team leaders and challenges and best strategies and practices to implement. And just like that, within minutes, it was crazy. I was like, wow, I mean, people would be paying ridiculous amounts of money for the knowledge that was being shared there. And it's just everyone pouring into each other, which is awesome to see. And that's one of countless examples.
Well, and not everyone is wanting to grow. No. That's okay, right? Yeah. Sometimes we villainize people that want to just do their 15 deals a year. But for those listening that want to grow, this is the environment.
Absolutely.
Right? If you want to grow a team, if you want to grow personally and professionally, this is the environment you get into because you're going to be challenged in this environment. And I was interviewing a couple different brokerages, and the other piece of advice I would give is, we were the big fish, right, at Compass. And coming here, so at Compass, we were number 1 in New England, and the Real Trends just came out, right, for EXP, we were 86th.
Wow.
And to me, a lot of people look at that as a setback, but it's an ego setback. It's actually a huge opportunity because now, the top 20 teams at EXP are, trumping, all the top teams at every other brokerage.
Yeah. And Fast Forward alone, they had, I think, 9 out of the top 10 teams at all of EXP inside of Fast Forward willing to pour back into each and every one of us. It's really, truly amazing. So it's cool. Yeah. I love that. All right. Want to switch to fun stuff? What are we looking at, Nate, for time-wise?
We are at an hour, just over an hour.
Okay. Yeah. Let's switch it up. So we have a little tradition.
Fun stuff.
Yeah. We go hypothetical questions.
Okay.
All right. So first one's tradition. We got to go with this. So you got 2 options. You're out there hiking in Alaska, by yourself. You just wanted to get out, have a moment to yourself. Really work on that mindset. That's so important. You're out there hiking through the woods.
His eyes are closed. He's really visualizing this.
Next thing you know, you turn a corner and there's a massive grizzly bear staring you down. Okay, that's option number 1.
That's option number 1.
Option number 1. Yep.
Okay.
Option number 2. It's a beautiful July day, crystal clear water off of Cape Cod. You're out there for a swim. Just getting your laps in, working on the cardio, and
this is how I'm gonna die.
And you run across a great white shark. So those are your 2 options. Which one do you choose and why?
I think I'm gonna be in the ocean.
Yes, I knew he was a brilliant guy. I'm a shark guy. They're bear guys.
How are you going to survive the great white? Like,
No. There's no surviving here.
No, like this is what I've said.
I want
You're gonna
to
die. In
I
this
want to die
situation.
quickly if I'm going to die in one of these two ways. And if you're in the water, you get to maybe I'm relaxing a little bit. I'm
You
not
get to drown.
I'm not relaxing in
Get to drown as you're
Antarctica.
being
Yes.
torn apart.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a better chance of a test bite.
Very relaxing. Very relaxing.
of
yeah.
a test bite?
More of a chance of a test bite with a shark. I think if a bear's going after you, you're done.
All right, so
Are you definitely
hold on.
dying in this instance?
No,
No.
but
Hold on.
You have to pick either scenario. There's no guarantee of life or death afterwards.
But wait a second.
What?
Todd just said he wants to die quick if this is going to happen. If you get a test bite, you're going to bleed out in the ocean.
Not necessarily. You know how people survive shark attacks each and every year?
How many?
I didn't know surviving was an option here.
Yeah, it's an option. Yep. So
What gives you the best chance of survival?
The shark, I think.
I think
Oh,
so. Yeah.
God.
I think they could take a little nibble. Maybe you
Are
have
you a
one
grizzly
leg.
bear guy?
Yes.
All day.
Todd, if you're in the water and the shark does a test bite, you're bleeding out in the ocean. Nobody can help you.
Now, if you ask me what's scarier, the shark.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm still
But if
still
you're in
want
the
to go
woods,
quickly.
you can put a tree between you
No,
and
you
that bear.
can't.
There's no trees to put between you and a great white.
You think the bear's going to be on the other side of the tree like, oh, I lost. I'm done. I'll go the other way. Like,
No,
nah,
but keep the tree between you.
I just prefer to be on land and more in my element,
Not to be grotesque, but can you just imagine how slow and painful it would be to die at the hands of a grizzly bear?
Yeah,
Well,
get mauled
a grizzly
Yes,
bear.
claws.
it would
Yeah.
be
Hold
so
on.
bad.
Hold on. Grizzly bears are gigantic.
We're
They'll
about to get-
crush your skull.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, sometimes they can take your head off with a swipe. They're that strong. And they're fast, too.
Test bite's gonna hurt for a while.
That's like,
Todd's changing his
I'm
mind.
gonna
Well,
consider.
well.
No.
I'm
I'm,
sure-
I'm sticking with the shark.
Makes
Okay.
all the sense in the
All
world.
I love
mean,
I love Jaws.
It's all good.
Yeah, I just do. Big shark guy. All right, so
It's a great movie.
Great take, great movie. Yeah,
Great take.
Todd's a smart guy.
Yep.
All right, next one I actually ran across on Twitter last night. And,
Ooh.
yes, and it said it will tell you a lot about a man the way they answer.
Oh, boy.
And I don't know if it's a good question or a bad question, but it's the first time being asked on the podcast. It's not our traditional hypothetical question, so I'm going to need
looking at
answers
it now.
from all of us. If you had to choose between three things and you were one of these three, what would you choose and why? First one's a samurai. Next one's a pirate. Third one is a cowboy.
Oh, man.
Samurai.
Samurai?
100%.
Why?
I just think there's like intellect, stealthiness,
Honor.
honor. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's a really cool. They seem very well disciplined.
Yeah.
I'm probably more disciplined than the average bear, but I would like to say I could be as disciplined as a samurai
reason.
or practiced.
I like
Yeah.
that. It's a good take. I'm gonna go pirate. I gotta have some fun in my life. I want to pillage a little bit. I want to be out in the ocean. I want to. If I'm gonna choose one of those three, I'm definitely going pirate all day. Give me a nice sailboat, and I'll be rolling around, pillaging, drinking some rum, getting my vitamin D again, and I'll be having a grand old time.
Having people
I love
walk
how-
the plank.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't you love how he says you can learn a lot about a man based on the way
Yeah.
he answers
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
And he wants to be a pirate so he can
What does
pillage
that
and
tell
drink
you?
rum. Yeah. Right. Watch your back.
I want to be in the ocean. I mean, samurai, those are great reasons. And obviously, Todd's much more honorable than I am, I guess. But I'm going to go pirate in those three. I think samurai, I don't know if you ever see a samurai smile. Do you? I'm not, it'd be very stoic.
Generally, no. Generally, they're pretty
You're.
calm.
I'm now regretting my decision again. I definitely don't want to be a cowboy. I don't want to be out in the desert
Yeah.
on a horse.
Oh, see, I was
Yellowstone's-
thinking cowboy would be fun. Ride a horse, little pow pow, go to the saloon.
yeah.
Date
Yeehaw.
Beth from Yellowstone. You'd be Rip
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah.
It's a good show.
Let's
my
go.
second would be pirate.
Pirate, nice.
Yeah. Out of the three, which would I rather be? I guess. I want to say samurai because it is like more honorable and more disciplined way of life. But I feel like being a cowboy would be fun as hell.
Badass, right?
I just kind of like the idea of like subsisting off of like beans and chewing tobacco, and just getting into fights and drinking all the time. Even though I
Yeah,
don't.
There we
there's
go.
something chaotic about it that
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
kind of
a certain
It's
allure
exciting,
to
right?
it. Allure to it. Yeah. I definitely. I mean, I don't even drink now, but in another life,
If you were a cowboy.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I could picture you as a cowboy, I think. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right, we got
I'll take it.
Go up to New Hampshire and just buy a farm and,
Yeah, all the cowboys up
be a
in New
cowboy
Hampshire.
in New Hampshire. Yeah, absolutely. That's
There'll be
Nate's dream.
pasture raising grizzlies up north. Let's do it.
Go.
All right,
Sweet.
closing lightning round, Todd. Let me find these questions.
I got 'em right here.
You got them right there? Lead us off, JT.
All right, Todd. Real quick answers. No thought on these.
Okay.
Book every agent should read.
The one thing.
Most underrated skill in real estate.
Most underrated skill in real estate. Interpersonal savvy. I don't know if that's a skill.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Definitely is.
One question you wish clients asked more often.
One question I wish clients would ask more often. How can I pay you the most commission possible?
Love it. Biggest real estate pet peeve.
Agents that lower our reputation. That really bugs the hell out of me.
Mm-hmm.
The douchey ones.
The douchey ones.
Mhm.
What's the best advice you've ever received?
The book's been written on how to do this.
So true. Would you rather acquire 5 teams in a year or train 5 agents from scratch into top producers?
At this moment in my trajectory, train 5 agents.
Cool.
Yeah.
More rewarding.
Yeah.
What's one thing you believe about real estate that most people don't?
I already said it, but I think that the majority of agents really care.
Mhm.
And I think that we get a bad rap that we're just trying to get a commit, even though I just shouted out that joke about making more commission. Yeah, I would say that. Yeah,
Awesome.
that thing.
Cool. Have you ever had a hot wiener?
No, I want one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay. All right. It's a Rhode Island staple. So
Is that where we're going for
You gonna
lunch?
take 'em?
I wasn't planning on it, but I assume being a Boston guy,
You
you probably
gotta.
had one once upon a time. But if you haven't, we might have to. Have you had coffee milk?
No.
Have you had
Oh,
indigestion?
I mean, I have, but I want
Putting
it.
coffee in your milk doesn't count. I mean, putting milk in your coffee.
No, I've not
It's
had
like
that.
coffee syrup, like chocolate syrup. So
Yeah,
it's
let's
one
do
thing
it.
rounds
Autocrat.
out.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 3 all the way.
He's gonna have a fun rest of your day. That's awesome.
Hot wieners on me.
No. On me.
Come
All
on.
day.
Todd's
I
gonna be
screwed
half-
up- I screwed up the last date, so I totally texted Todd. I'm like, oh yeah, looking forward to the podcast on the 8th. The next day, I say, oh yeah, I'm gonna see you on the 7th. And on the
Typical flaky real estate agents.
Exactly, yeah.
Literally, I blew them off the first time. He blew me off the second time. We're lucky we're even
Here
here.
we
right
are.
now.
Third time's a charm. I
He's
love
gonna
it.
be halfway back to Boston in the car, like, why did I have 3 hot wieners?
Oh man, I love it. I talk to Joe Oz about hot wieners all the time. I can't wait for him to come in August and give him some hot wieners.
Yep.
But
he's
I came
coming
out wrong.
back.
Don't clip that. Awesome. All right, we ended with a little rating. Rate the pod 0 to 10. What do we got?
Are you looking at me?
I'll go 9-4. I thought Todd was great. This was a good pod.
I'm gonna go 9.5. That was great.
It wasn't
podcast.
awkward?
One
Todd
upper
was
over here.
awesome. No, it was fantastic, and I got a one up John, so I'm gonna go 9.5. So
I thought you'd give a higher rating because I gave you a tee up to
I usually give
slam Nick.
That was great. 9.4 is really high for me, actually.
Okay, good,
he's
good.
usually in the 7s.
This
or
is like a
8s, so-
pizza review.
Yeah.
I'll do a 9.42.
Wow, big numbers all around. Good
Yeah.
stuff. Todd, great guest. We got
He's
to
a great
sign the
guest.
wall. It's a new tradition. We didn't start it right away. I kind of feel bad about that.
Yeah.
We got to have our old guests back down to sign the wall. But
maybe.
So-
Guys, thank you so much for having me. It's so fun to get to share a story, and I think this is just an extension of this fast forward EXP community that we're building, which is really tying together abundant, positive, growth-minded people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you guys for having
Love
me.
it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Here, sign the wall. I want to get you on camera.
All right. Over and out.
No, I want to get him on camera.
Oh, no dead. He's going to keep wanting to have the dead air on.
Whatever. I'll put music over it.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Shootin' the SHT. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. And if you enjoyed this content, please share it with others and leave us a rating and a review. Buying, selling, or want to connect with Nick and JT? Visit Slocum Home Team on Facebook and Instagram or slocumhometeam.com. We'll see you next time.